Okay, so I don't think I've ever seen such a wide majority of like negative to mid to positive reviews on a film and literally agreed with almost everything that's in all of those reviews. I don't think that's ever been humanly possible. Like all the negative reviews, I can see why everybody said that. All the mid reviews, I can definitely see why everybody said that. The positive reviews, I can see why they said that, but I think some people were kind of being nice about some things in the film itself. But I mean, regardless, I can see why everybody's opinion on this movie is what it is. Hell, I had a friend literally text me who said, "Thank God for the second half of this movie because my favorite part of a fight scene in the beginning of the film was Sam Jackson shooting someone from a chair." There was actual fighting going on, and his favorite part of this scene was Sam Jackson shooting someone from a chair, not doing anything. I mean, he did a cool little Western little gun flip at the end, but I mean, all he did was shoot somebody from a chair. So I guess that goes to show that just go watch this movie for yourself because who knows what your opinion will be? It could range from anywhere on the fucking spectrum of, or the big scale of mid to, I mean, ass to mid to awesome, or whatever your scale of rating movies is. It could land, this movie could literally land anywhere, but nonetheless, this is my opinion of The Marvels. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for The Marvels starring Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, Sam Jackson, or Samuel L. Jackson, Sam Jackson, you know who I'm talking about, and it was directed by Nia DaCosta, and our story follows our three, I'm going to call them just the Marvels, our three Marvels, who essentially have their powers entangled for some odd reason. Not going to get into what the reason is, but they have their powers basically entangled where they're switching places every time they use their powers themselves, and so basically they have to now team up to defeat a common enemy and get their powers untangled. And I would say that's the best way to describe this plot, only because there's a lot of other things going on as far as some things continuing from the story of Captain Marvel as to why she got the name Annihilator and why she is, basically why she is away from home for so long, and they're dealing with her family issues with Monica Rambeau, played by Teyonah Parris, and then you have Iman Vellani, who is just meeting these two, and she's fangirling out the entire time and just continuing her story of using her superpowers and becoming the superhero that she, essentially wants to become and who she's looking up to, Captain Marvel herself. There's a lot of stuff going on in this plot. This plot is super messy in my opinion, but look, I am going to talk about what I liked about the film. Look, like I said, this is a movie where I truly think you should just go watch it for yourself. Now, I will say this. If you did not like the Miss Marvel series and I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Captain Marvel, but I still did like this movie. If you're not the biggest fan of the Miss Marvel series, I don't think you're really going to enjoy this movie much because it follows the exact same tone as the Miss Marvel show. And at the same time, like I said, it is bouncing back and forth between the tone of the Miss Marvel show and honestly following the events of the first Captain Marvel movie. So it's kind of like two different tones of things are going on at the same time, and it's kind of hard to balance through a lot of the stuff. But honestly, I should probably just talk about that later. Look, basically what I liked about the film, I'm going to start with the superstar herself, Iman Vellani. That's a reason I think a lot of people are here in this theater in the first place, because she is just an immensely joyful actress to watch. I mean, she's having her having fun on the screen is so contagious. At least for me, it was. I enjoyed her so much. She was my favorite part. The only part of the Miss Marvel series that I disliked was the villains. I did not like the villains whatsoever. But as far as Kamala goes and her family, they were incredible, and they do the same thing here. Iman Vellani is an absolute superstar. She steals the show. She is honestly one of the best parts of the movie. She's so much fun to watch on screen. Her family is the same as Miss Marvel. Like, they had me dying laughing. I absolutely love the family dynamic. Their chemistry is awesome. They just work. It just works, and I really enjoyed that. Teyonah Parris, phenomenal. Love Teyonah Parris. She did a really good job as Monica Rambeau. I'm not even gonna lie to you. A lot of stuff, like, I didn't even realize, like, piece together from WandaVision and stuff, like her backstory, I didn't really piece together until this movie, so that's on me for completely missing that. But I really enjoyed Teyonah Parris's character and her relation to Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and their Honestly, I did enjoy the arc that they gave for Tiana Paris's character, dealing with her Aunt Carol and dealing with like her leaving and stuff like that, and trying to actually, she hasn't seen her aunt in like however many years, like since she left when she was a kid, and so now she has to finally face that when she sees her. And honestly, I did enjoy that dynamic. I thought it was pretty good. Brie Larson, I thought, did a much better job in this film than she did in Captain Marvel. Only to say that in Captain Marvel, I feel like she wasn't necessarily like too comfortable, if that makes sense. I just felt like a lot of her movements and the way she was delivering lines was kind of stiff in Captain Marvel. And here, I think Iman Vellani and Teyonah Parris really helped loosen her up and let her have a lot more fun on screen. Like when these three are doing the power switching and they're doing their dynamics of trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and then you have like their chemistry is just oozing off the screen. It's a great movie. It's a fun time. That is the best part of the movie for me. I'll say, and like I said, like I said, Kamala's family is a huge part of that as well. Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, he was good, but I think that this is a vastly different Nick Fury than we got from Secret Invasion, meaning that this is a lot more lighthearted movie, so his character is a lot more silly than I'm used to, and sometimes that works for the movie, sometimes it doesn't. Sam Jackson is a great actor nonetheless, but I just think like his character as Nick Fury was a little too silly in my opinion. But I mean, this is, a lot of people are describing this as a kids movie, which I'm just gonna leave that alone, I guess. I mean, I guess you could say because of the tone of Miss Marvel, it's a kids movie, but I don't necessarily see it as that. I just see it as a more lighthearted, silly, fun film. Lighthearted, silly, fun film that's just trying to be a little more sillier than normal, but I don't necessarily think that just means we should put that in the kids category. But I mean, hey, to each its own. But as far as what I really liked about the film, the best parts are the Marvels. The best parts are when these three girls are I lost my train of thought. When these girls are interacting with each other, that's the word. Oh my god, I lost myself. When these girls are interacting with each other, and then on top of that, like I said, this is where we kind of get into the bad of the film. But the plot is messy as hell. Like I said, the best way to describe it is, this isn't even coming from me, but Sean Chandler talks about, he quoted this movie as season 2 of Miss Marvel, while at the same time being Captain Marvel 3, which once I saw the film made 1,000% sense, because like I said, it's balancing two different tones of a film at the same time, or two different tones at the same time in this one film. It's balancing the kid. Well, there I go using the word kid. So I don't know. Using the kid lighthearted tone of Miss Marvel and the I said kid friendly, and the more lighthearted silly tone of Miss Marvel, and it's balancing that with kind of the serious gripes and I'll say it's kind of a painful tale for Captain Marvel, because this is still dealing with the past events of her trying to get her memories back from what the Kree stole from her, and then she's still dealing with like the Skrulls, and she's trying to basically get away from this whole Annihilator name that she's been given, because she's just haunted by that. She doesn't like that name, and she's been trying to work so hard to bring back balance to the people who gave her that name in the first place. And like I said, the movie is really balancing those two tones, and they really conflict with each other a lot throughout the movie itself. And as far as the plot itself goes, it's kind of all over the place in some notions. It's just a lot of some silly stuff works in the film, and then some just doesn't. One of my least favorite films in the movie has to do with this singing island that I guess you could compare it to The Lion King. It's like they were singing The Circle of Life in a way, but it was just not beautiful at all. It was just like, stop, can y'all stop doing that? But they didn't stop. They just kept singing, and it is what it is. Some of the silly stuff just really didn't work in the film for me. And then at the same time, the Captain Marvel stuff, it's like, I wish I would have had more in-depth stuff of what they were actually alluding to, or what they were kind of showing us on Captain Marvel's side of this film. Honestly, it's really like he said, this feels like two completely different movies. it honestly feels like 3 different movies at some points. But I don't necessarily think the runtime would have fixed that, because this is one of the shortest. Or I think this is the shortest Marvel movie, and I think making that longer and trying to flesh out the characters even more. You had a lot to work with dealing with these 3 characters and giving them there's enough screen time and enough story arc to feel like they're actually developing as characters throughout the film. And honestly, they are developing. Kamala really just gets a lot of time to shine and just be fun throughout the film, but at times it just, like, that plot, the fact that they have to keep coming back to, you know, the main villain and stuff like that, which the villain I'll get to in a second, they have to keep coming back to the main villain, and it just feels like they're juggling a lot all at once, trying to do a little too much, and that just necessarily didn't work for me. Now, as far as the villain goes, I don't know the actress's name, but I am so sorry. She was bad. She was really, really bad. She was like Thor: The Dark World, whatever that villain is, the Dark Elves, whatever that main villain is in Thor: The Dark World, she was that bad. Possibly one of the worst villains in the MCU. Just not a memorable villain whatsoever. And honestly, I'm not even gonna blame her for that, because the trailer definitely gave off the notion that this is going to be a very forgettable villain. Honestly, the trailer really shows you what you're getting through this movie. The trailer just has a complete fun, wacky tone to it, with the power switching and everything, and their dynamic of trying to figure out what the heck is just going on. They're trying to interact with each other. They're figuring out each other's powers and personalities for the first time. So it's kind of a very fun little team up film, but at the same time, you just have this villain who's just there, and she just, because they need to be there. You need an antagonist, and you need something to just move the plot forward. That's basically why the villain is here. Has no memorable lines. Her motives are just very. Her motives make sense, but to say that literally anybody could have played this role, and not necessarily saying, like, because it was a woman, no, nothing like that, but literally anyone could have played this role. Like, it's just no memorable lines, no memorable anything from this villain. Like, it was just a very forgettable villain. So, but the trailer did kind of push me in that thought process in the first place, where I'm like, yeah, I don't think the villain's going to be very memorable. But other than that, you're really here just for the dynamic of the Marvels themselves. You're here for Kamala Khan, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau. I don't remember if they gave her a code name in the movie or not, but they gave her. I'm going to call her Professor Marvel, because that's what Kamala called her. But as far as those 3 girls go, they make this movie a ton of fun, and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have fun in this theater. Now, as far as everybody else, like I said, a lot of the silly stuff just didn't work for other people in my theater. My theater wasn't necessarily packed, but it was like I could definitely hear myself being the only person laughing at some stuff that was happening throughout the film, and it was just very awkward silence when some jokes were trying to land but just didn't land, and it's kind of wonky, which is why I said I can understand if your opinion on this movie is you don't necessarily like it at all, if you think it's just really supremely mid and just okay, or if you thought it was damn good. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't necessarily pay the villain too much mind, because, like I said, the trailer kind of gave off the fact that it was going to be a forgettable villain. The plot was just very all over the place. It was just a complete mess, in my opinion, which is why I just can't necessarily bring myself to love this movie, or I'm damn sure not going to say Marvel is back. This is not the movie to say that Marvel is back. If anything, nobody can say Marvel is back until they get about maybe 3 or 4 hits. This is not a hit. This is not a hit, but it's damn sure not a miss. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was a miss. This is better than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania to me, because the only thing good about that movie was the villain. But this movie here, this dynamic between the 3 characters is a lot of fun. What they're setting up, not only with the ending of the film itself, I'm looking forward to, but the end credit scene. I think we are. I was gonna say I did a video in my MCU, like, what the fuck is the MCU doing? But like, as far as them not following through on what they show in the end credit scenes, but this end credit scene here is clearly going somewhere. It's setting something up, and the recent news of them delaying movies until 2025 and only releasing Deadpool next year definitely shows me that, yeah, they're definitely going to follow through on whatever this end credit scene is, and they're definitely going to start, hopefully moving in the direction where we can get Marvel back to its glory days. But that, as of now, is more so just a hope. That's just a dream that A dream is a wish your heart makes. That. But look, overall, guys, this movie is a ton of fun, which I'm sure you are going to see in a lot of different reviews. The plot is very messy, but you're not. It sucks to say you're not there for the plot, because we really used to be like at one point. We really used to be there for not only these incredible characters, but the plots themselves and the villains and everything. You should just be so peachy keen, but we are just not in that phase of Marvel anymore, where everything coming out is amazing and everybody's agreeing. Honestly, people don't even agree on like some of the good movies anymore. Like with Spider-Man No Way Home, there's a lot of people that came out the woodwork that just hate that movie randomly. But look, overall, this is just a very fun movie. This is an incredible movie for Kamala Khan, Iman Vellani to shine. Brie Larson did a damn good job in the film. Teyonah Parris did an amazing job. Sam Jackson was a bit too silly for me, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I did not have a good time in this theater. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give The Marvels a 3.25 out of 5 stars. All right, guys. So The Marvels, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Be completely honest. Look, if you, like I said, if you did not like Miss Marvel, there is a high chance that you're not going to like this movie. But if what you did like about Miss Marvel was Iman Vellani, then I think you can have some fun with this movie. Just don't try to take it too seriously. But please let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the film. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more, guys. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.